February 21st, 2017 meeting of the Albion City Council. I would ask that you put your cell phones or other electronic devices on silent. I will call the meeting to order, and we will begin with a moment of silence. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If the Clerk Domingo will call the roll.
Councilmember Barnes.
Here.
Reed. Here. Brown.
Here.
Lawler.
Here.
Spicer. French.
Here.
And Mayor Brown.
Here. Are there any comments from council members this evening? Councilmember French.
Thank you. I've got some college event news to share with our community. There are a number of events happening this week and this weekend that I wanted to bring everyone's attention. There's a play this weekend starting Thursday going through Sunday, 8 p.m. are the show times. Clyburn Park, which is loosely based on the famous play by Bruce Norris, A Raisin in the Sun, which that play basically tells the story of an African-American family that moves into an affluent white neighborhood in Chicago and the struggles that they have adjusting to that. Clyburn Park takes place a generation after that, when the neighborhood is now largely African-American and a Caucasian family moves in. And it's been billed as a comedy that makes you think. So I'd invite folks who are interested to come to that play. Also, the College Orchestra is having a concert on February 26th at 4 p.m. at Goodrich Chapel, focusing on American composers Charles Ives and Leonard Bernstein. And then Michigan and the Charter Schools presentation at Albion College, a guy named Gary Nayert, Executive Director of the Great Lakes Educational Project, or GLEP, presents, quote, the truth behind charters and school choice in K-12 education on Monday, February 27th at 7 p.m. at the Bobbitt Auditorium. The GLEP is a bipartisan nonprofit advocacy organization supporting quality choices in public education for all Michigan students. And there will be a discussion following this presentation. So if anybody's interested in going to that, that'll be at Bobbitt on February 27th at 7 p.m. on the college campus. Thank you.
Are there any other? Councilmember Brown.
Yes. A recent New York Times article cites AmeriCorps as a program that may be cut in the new presidential administration's budget. I call upon the citizens of Albion to support AmeriCorps and all the great service it does in Albion and across the nation. The 9 AmeriCorps members currently serving in Albion are supporting numerous local entities that serve Albionites, such as the City of Albion, Albion Healthcare Alliance, Albion School Children in Marshall Public Schools, the Albion's Farmer Market, Albion Community Gardening, Albion District Library, Fork Senior Center, and more, while implementing the Albion Forward Community Survey. Across the nation, AmeriCorps members work to combat poverty, fight homelessness, protect the environment, educate our children, support seniors, and provide hundreds of community services. National service unites Americans of all backgrounds, bringing skills and willpower to solve local problems, while providing a ladder to opportunity for those who serve. AmeriCorps is a critical thread in our national fabric and is widely popular. If you would like to support AmeriCorps and express why it should not be cut, please contact our U.S. House of Representatives Justin Amash and our U.S. Senators Debbie Stabenow and Gary Peters, asking them to support AmeriCorps in the next budget. Our nation and our community needs this critical tool. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from council this evening? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move forward to presentations. Presentation A, the Albion River Trail update, or Albion River Trail update with Greg Strand.
Thank you. This is not so much needing any approvals or action by council, but with changes in leadership, Mayor Brown and new council members, just wanted to give an update on the trail project, where it's at, and if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to pose them. I'm Greg Strand, Planning Commissioner for the City of Albion, also Director of Corporate and Foundation Relations, AKA grant writer at Albion College, and also in partnership with the city, and also a board member for the Calhoun County Trailway Alliance. So pick your hat. I've been involved in this project since its inception, and it's linked to many other trail projects throughout the county and the state. So again, this is not needing any kind of action from council, but just more of a reaffirmation that the city continues to support the project, that the college as a partner continues to support the project, and a lot of other community partners, funding partners, and project partners also continue to support the project. Real quick, I'll just run through a history, get us to where we are now and some of the next steps that are happening with the project. You each have a map in front of you which lays out the current proposed route for the Albion River Trail extension. If you look, and you're familiar with the Albion River Trail, where it currently comes through town along the river, through Victory Park, and then formally ends right by the Kids Kingdom playground area, and then from there is where this project is going to pick up and construct new trail that's going to extend north out of, excuse me, that's not north, what would that be, south, out of Victory Park across Haven Road at that location, it's listed as Albion Road, and then out through College Equestrian Center properties, and then along the edge of Riverside Cemetery where it connects with M99. It's about a 1.2 mile extension. In 2015, the City of Albion, again in partnership with the college and others, developed a proposal for the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund, which we were awarded $296,000, and together the college and the city committed to about $100,000 in matching funds, in-kind and cash matching funds that would bring the total project cost to about $400,000 to complete the work. The city at the time expressed concerns, I guess, that financially we wanted to make sure that this project was completely covered financially from the beginning, and that's where the college's guarantee comes in. We are currently fundraising and trying to cover that $100,000, which we will, but that is guaranteed. So the city's commitment is still through in-kind, through services that the city already provides, and managing the grant itself, which there are a lot of people helping with. So in 2015, the grant was awarded and approved by city leadership. Again, the college guaranteed $100,000 of the $400,000 total project costs. And since that time, these grants, and if you're dealing with any state or federal agency, just takes time. So by the time we've got all the legal paperwork, the grant agreements in place, it was about a year later, at which time we started to formalize the engineering designs and drawings, and that gets us up to this point where we've got the final trail route identified. We've done all the surveying and final engineering designs, which were submitted to the Department of Natural Resources. They then will approve that based on what we submitted. We may need to make some small changes, but we believe that we have all the information in that we need. And once they approve that, then the city and the college can put the work out to bid. What we also agreed to do between the city and the college is the college would function as general contractor, basically. These grants are reimbursement grants, so all the costs are incurred on the front end, and then you submit receipts and invoices, and then it's reimbursed. So rather than the city having to put the money out, the college is managing the financial end and paying all of the bills, submitting those to the city. The city then submits those to the Department of Natural Resources, and then partially that is reimbursed. And so the city's not putting money out or sitting on any bills. The college is doing that on their behalf. So that's where we're at right now, is waiting for the final approval from the Department of Natural Resources on the design plans. Once those are approved, again, we can put the work out to bid. And the city and the college will need to finalize at some point the easement that will be on this particular trail. So when the Department of Natural Resources, and if any of you were involved with city leadership at the time, there were several projects, the pond or swimming area in Victory Park and some other Department of Natural Resources funded projects. When they fund a project, the city has to encumber that property for that recreational purpose. So the same is true with this trailway, that, a year from now, 2 years from now, the city or the college can't just decide, well, we don't really want to take care of the trail, or we want to get rid of it for some particular reason of our own. The easement allows the Department of Natural Resources to guarantee that that's going to be an asset for public use in perpetuity, so for forever, basically. The last note is that the hope is not just to do a 1.2 mile extension of the Albion River Trail. I mean, that locally is going to be a nice impact for a public resource, for recreational use, but the longer-term vision for the Count County Trailway Alliance, state trailway groups, and other partners is that these trails start to connect communities. So if you're not familiar with state trail systems, Albion is actually at the hub of 3 major state and national trail systems. So the Iron Bell, what used to be the Governor's Showcase Trail, is a statewide priority trail. That's what the Department of Natural Resources and the trust fund monies are prioritized for right now. That's why we were able to get the grant, because the state has prioritized the trailway throughout the state. Coming from Belle Isle, so the Iron Bell is Belle Isle to Iron Mountain in the western Upper Peninsula. That's the route, and that's how it got its name. That's one trail. Another is the biking trail, the Great Lake to Lake Trail, that runs from Port Huron to South Haven. And then the third is the National Scenic North Country Trail that runs from New York to North Dakota. So coincidentally or conveniently, these all merge in Albion. So we've been able to take advantage of that fact and use that as kind of a selling point to recruit funding partners and trail partners to help us build this up as a network that Albion will attract tourists, guests, people that might stay at the hotel, people that might just pass through and eat at local restaurants. So really developing this as a connected trail network throughout Michigan and Calhoun County is a long-term hope for all of the trail advocates. So again, at this point, it was just to give you an update of where things are at, some of the next steps, and if you have any questions about the project, I'd be glad to try to take those. And I'd also like to thank Cheryl and Daniel Nelson with AmeriCorps and the city for all the work that they've put in, as well as a lot of other people that have been a part of this project. So, any questions?
Are there any questions? Councilmember French.
You may have said this already. Timeline for completion of this?
Ideally, construction will be complete by the end of 2017. We are on a really tight timeline right now for actually bats. You can only cut trees during certain periods of the year using state funding, and so we really are, that's probably the most time-sensitive thing that we need to get done by the beginning of April, is to have some trees cut on some college property, and we don't think that's going to be a problem. That would be the one thing that would slow the project down. But right now, it looks like, even though it's tight, we are on schedule to have the bidding and contract in place and construction complete by the end of 2017.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions from council? Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation B, Neighborhood Health Visitors, Tom Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I'm Tom Brown II, and I live in the Albion vicinity, right in the community, as do many of our other neighbors here. And there are quite a few people from the community who have volunteered to help with neighborhood health visitors. What we are doing is training neighbors to visit their own neighbors, to tell them how to access healthcare services in our wider community. There's a dearth of information, and the problem started back when our hospital closed. And the Albion community got together with an Albion health plan, and that means that this is a part of a much larger plan to bring health to the Albion community. And so Joyce Spicer and Talia, now Dr. Phillips, were in the beginning staff members of this to get it going. Now, I got involved with a group that's called the Health and Wellness Action Team, which solves all kinds of problems. And we started this program on a very small, limited basis. But as funds have come, as college students have volunteered, as more people from the community have volunteered, it's really been growing and growing. And I think it's in better hands than it's ever been, because now, not only are VISTA workers supporting the program and trained to be trainers, but the Bill Albion Fellows from Albion College, all local residents, are beginning to volunteer to be part of this program as well. And as I turn around, I can see 10 people from this small crowd here who are neighborhood health visitors already. And I can see one man here who a couple of years ago at the Juneteenth celebration, along with Gerald Simpson, told me he wanted to be a neighborhood health visitor someday. So I'm glad to visit with you today. We're going to make a little drama here for just a minute and pretend that we're making a visit at the mayor's house. And I have one of my co-workers, Elfrida Dysart Drake, who's going to help me with this. And we're just going to pretend that we're coming to your house and we're going to bring some gifts and some help to you. Knock, knock.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm all right. This is Elfrida.
How are you?
I'm Tom, and we are neighborhood health visitors.
Okay.
And we're here to help you get some information and to some gifts, and we're not selling anything.
Okay.
Is that all right?
That's all right.
Have you got a moment?
Yes.
Okay, here's one of your first gifts.
Okay.
This is a smoke alarm,
Okay.
one that will help your house be safer
Okay.
all the time and make it possible for you to have safety at your house. We also have a brochure to give you. And Elfrida has those, and we have enough for all the members of the council. And in this is a listing of a number of the places in the Albion area where you can get help for your health, for your family's health, for your neighbor's health, and assist you along the way. And we only have a little bit of information other than that to provide for you. And the other gift we have is a digital thermometer. We're providing these door to door across the Albion area so people can have this as a resource. And by the way, those are a little different than the traditional thermometer. And if you have an older one with mercury in it, there are places where you can put that in the hazardous waste reclamation. We can't take them, but they can be turned in there. But that takes about 30 seconds before it goes beep when you put it in your mouth in order to make it work effectively. Now, we do want to ask just a couple of questions if you have another minute.
Okay.
And Alfreda's going to make a note here. How many people in your family?
I guess I'm single at one.
One, okay. And these questions are not going to be circulated. This helps our Albion Healthcare Alliance get an idea of what the health needs are in our community. And so another question is, do the members of this household have health insurance?
Yes.
Yes? And do you have a family doctor?
Yes.
Okay, good. And do you have some sort of prescription coverage? Can you get prescriptions at a reasonable price? Okay, if you need help with that, all that information is in that folder I just gave you. And the key person for anybody in the Albion area who wants to have questions answered about this, or doesn't have insurance and wants to have insurance guidance, we have Vicki at the Ralph and Mary Cram Health Center downtown, who's there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and she is a navigator for healthcare. And she can help anybody who doesn't have insurance coverage to find the kinds of things they need, transportation, prescriptions, and a variety of things as that goes along. Now we have one more key question to ask you. Would you like to be a neighborhood health visitor right in your own neighborhood and assist people the way we're doing?
Yes.
Yes, okay, well, mark it down. That's always one of the main questions to ask. And the place there is number 10. Yeah, and so we will have someone from our program contact you soon about your volunteering. And the training only takes a couple of hours. And then you'll be matched with another person in the community, in your neighborhood especially, to make sure we do this. Our long-range goal, however, is to build neighborhoods, healthy neighborhoods, and abundant neighborhoods and communities.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're glad for your volunteering and your help. Any questions?
And I would like to say that even though Tom has been with the program for quite some time, ever since the very beginning, and Tom will be retired, and he'll be leaving the community and moving to Chelsea, Michigan next month in March. However, the Albion Healthcare Alliance will continue on with the neighborhood health visitors. And it's actually Vicki Easterwood, who used to be with Community Connections. They closed, but then she came aboard with Albion Healthcare Alliance, so she's gonna still have hours, and as he said, still do some of the same work in our community. She does a really good job. There are a lot of people that she sees, and she's helped a lot of individuals and families with healthcare. And I would like to invite everybody this Friday, February 24th, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Albion House. We're giving Tom a retirement party. We're gonna have food and a short program, so you all are welcome to come. Mayor, council members, community, you're welcome to come and be able to celebrate Tom and just say thank you for what he's done in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good question. We do have a couple of questions. Councilmember Lawler?
Yes.
I just have one question. Do you help, I have a 82-year-old guy that he helps with glasses. Do you help him?
I'm sure
Or
Vicki
something.
could help him find a source of assistance for that. They have programs for seniors who need glasses.
Okay.
I'll give you one more thing that will help fill out the information a little bit more. This is our invitation for people to join neighborhood health visitors, and it's also a report of how we're doing. We've been to 2,000 homes so far. We've had over almost 200 volunteers, and we've had, there's another guy who wants to help us too.
Thank you.
That's good. And so far, we think the program will continue to grow, and we'd like to see the program go to other parts of the country. The people who publish Senior Times for our area are very interested in having, Sherry is very interested in spreading the program to the Marshall and Valley. We could send someone over, we could train them. You don't have time to chase over there.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions from council? Okay, seeing none, thank you again.
Yes.
Appreciate it. Presentation C, update on Albion Forward Survey, AmeriCorps Vista members.
All right, hello. So again, you all know me, I'm Danielle Nelson.
I'm Jeremiah Simon. I'm on the AmeriCorps Vista team.
And so we have been conducting the AmeriCorps survey, the Albion Forward survey to assess not only the needs, but also the assets that people have in the community that we can build on. And also too, I'll let Jeremiah explain that, but in addition to that survey, we've also made some placements with our Vista members, and so we have Miranda Hall working at the Albion District Library, and she's working to expand and improve the GED program there. We have Devin Parker, who's working with the Land Bank currently and making some good progress on bringing Dalrymple down, hopefully soon, hopefully within the next few years. They're working diligently towards that. Also, we've got Linda Lanou, who is working with the Marshall Public Schools, and so working to make sure that Albion students are getting what they need at Harrington Elementary. Then we have Jeremiah, if you want to explain a little bit what you're doing.
I'm serving at the Fork Senior Center, helping them expand their operations, expand their wellness programming, et cetera.
And I'm serving with the City of Albion, so working on the Redevelopment Ready Community certification. And I'll let Jeremiah explain a little bit more about the results of our survey thus far.
All right. Good evening again. The Albion Forward survey began on January 4th. As a reminder, the goal of the survey is to 1, gather community input in regards to economic development, education, health and food access, and look at the assets of the community that we can build on. Number 2 is to identify ways residents of Albion connect to events and services in Albion. And the 3rd is to identify transportation needs of Albion residents. Their survey takes about 10 to 15 minutes to complete. There's an online version as well as paper copies that are distributed by Vistas in person at various businesses, community sites, and organizations. Residents' feedback on the survey has been positive. While everyone has their own ideas and critiques, citizens we have spoken with are generally impressed with the survey, are glad it's being implemented, and hopeful that its results will assist the community. In terms of results so far, we're about halfway to our target number of surveys taken. While it's too early to offer concrete results and nothing has been analyzed in regards to demographic information such as income, we thought we might share some preliminary results with you. For the sake of time, I will paraphrase some of the questions from the survey. So, when asked how they find about services and what's going on in Albion, the two top answers by far, and this may not surprise anyone, were social media and word of mouth. Survey respondents were asked what they would like to see a neighborhood planning council in their neighborhood do if there was one, and the top two choices were running a neighborhood watch and giving input on developments in their community. We have learned so far that Albion's workforce skills are incredibly diverse and serves as a reminder of the rich resources the members of this community has to offer. The top two transportation needs so far are going to and from the doctor and going to and from grocery shopping. Community classes related to exercise, stress reduction, and food tastings and demonstrations so far are the three top health and wellness classes respondents are interested in. We have also learned that so far 25% of those surveys could not see a doctor, receive treatment, and or get a prescription because of cost. 20% of those surveyed have worried about having enough food at least once in the past year, which was mainly due to the cost of food. On a positive note, almost 100 people have expressed interest in volunteering in Albion and have given us their contact information so that we could get in touch with them when opportunities arise. We have brought some flyers and survey to-go packets for anyone who wants them, and we ask the council and all residents of the city who are watching to continue to share the survey with friends and family and take it themselves if they haven't yet. The Build Albion AmeriCorps Vista initiative is grateful for the support of the community so far. We look forward to completing the survey and continuing to serve this community and its inspiring people.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there any questions from council? Councilmember Lawler.
Thank you. On the survey, there was a section about a retirement community. Can you explain to the community what you meant by that and what that would kind of look like?
So I think that, so we've had a number of, I've been working with the city for going on a couple of years now, but now in my role serving with Vista, we included information that we've already received with some previous surveys that the city had done, and there is definitely interest in having a retirement community, whether that is an assisted living home or if it's just the idea of having homes that are, single level where seniors don't have to go up and down stairs and whatnot, and a little bit less to maintain, easier to maintain homes, I guess would be a way to describe that. And so that's what has been expressed by people in the past, and so we wanted to include that option on there. And as for what that might look like though, if it were ever to actually come here and how that would play out, that's not up to Vista, that's up to the community. So, and that's really what we're here to do, is just to gather input from community members. We have no real agenda of our own besides serving members of the community and hoping to help bring about what it is that people think would make Albion a better place to live.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councilmember French.
Councilman Lawler and everyone else, I can just add a few comments to what Ms. Nelson commented on. I think one of the things that we can think about is if that need is known, then our Economic Development Corporation Director, Amy DePraise, and her staff, along with the city staff, can put together sort of a need proposal or a proposal that could be then shared with entities, profit or nonprofit, that deliver those sort of senior services, residential senior services. So I know that's happened at least once already, and so we're waiting for that group to find a response, but also to offer it to other companies or nonprofits. So we can think about the local, regional retirement communities that we can think about Ganton and Jackson. We can think about, there's one in Marshall, I believe. There's certainly one in Battle Creek. Those sorts of entities can be approached by our Economic Development Corporation or by our city to say, hey, here's this need. Can we find a way to make it happen in Albion?
And that's with any of the things on the survey, or really anything that we come across over the next year, not to just focus on the one area, but with anything that people identify as something that they see as a need or a desire to have in the community. When you have some of that data to back it up, it makes it a lot easier to put together a proposal. So,
Councilmember Lawler.
I was just trying to clarify the vision of people not being pushed out, and
right.
We kind of talked about it one day, so I was
Absolutely.
just trying to share it with the rest of the community.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Councilman Barnes.
I'd like to thank you all for coming over to our neighborhood watch in Precinct 1. I took your survey downstairs, and I was excited. I want you to know that I will be contacting Mosh, Peters, and Stevano at the national level to try to keep you guys and the rest of the young people in our nation working, because you really, really make me proud. I mean, you're definitely doing the footwork. You're in our community. You recognize the needs that we have in my community on Austin Ave, our industrial area, and the Malibu site. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. Any other? Okay, thank you. We will move on to the public hearing. Item A, proposed revocation of the liquor license for, is it Sing?
Sing and Sing.
Sing and Sing, Albion LLC, they does business as a Fitco Party Store. So we're gonna open the public hearing, and are they gonna come forward? You wanna start?
If I could just provide a brief overview. A public notice was published announcing the public hearing to afford the owners of Sing and Sing doing business at Fedco at 217 South Superior Street an opportunity to examine and submit comments on the proposed revocation of their liquor license. The situation arose with delinquent personal property taxes that were outstanding from 2013 and 14.
Are there? Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sunny from Fedco Party Store in downtown. Well, one of my customers, he comes in the store, you know, I don't read no newspaper. He told me, like, city trying to do a revocation your liquor license. So Miss Laurel, you know, she come to the store and she bring me to the city. She was like, let's go to City Hall and find out, you know, why they want to do it. And Miss Shell, you know, she explained me everything. So I guess we all set now. So long as I keep the payments. Well, I like this city. I like to be here, you know. If you guys need anything, just let me know, you know. I'm not too far from you guys. Well, thank you. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
Any question?
Well, we can, yeah, are there any other, we comment after though. Are there any other public comments to this agenda item for the public hearing? Yeah, you got it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a, yeah.
Hi, my name is Lonnie Burrow. I stay on Hillside Road. But anyway, I had a meeting with Cheryl and McColl and Ancestry. And I appreciate you guys coming out and out of your busy schedule to work with Sonny on this issue. Now, what happened, he got into a situation he was like misunderstanding. Once he got everything worked out, he sat down and made arrangement. Pretty much that's basically what he done. He made arrangement that he can take care of all his taxes from 13 to 14. So with that saying that, we feel that he's on the right track to do the right thing, and I think that it's going to be a good thing to continue to keep him downtown in the area, and please don't affect his employment. And I appreciate you guys working with him at the same time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Good evening, Mayor. My name is Bill Dobbins. Represent Albion Reinvestment Corporation and as a interested citizen. And this is probably one of those situations where you'll end up, no matter what you say, you'll probably make everybody angry in one way or another. So I think there's a unique opportunity here. And this is nothing against the owners of the business, but the presence of Fedco in our downtown, I think, is a distraction from the efforts that are being made to reinvigorate the downtown. We have a liquor store that's centrally located across from the new hotel where we'll have visitors coming from all over. It's directly between the redone Bone Theater and kids and stuff in a key target area for reinvestment in the downtown. And, you know, I think clearly they can say this is a misunderstanding, but I don't know how anybody gets away with a misunderstanding that I didn't understand that I had to pay personal property taxes. This is just the way the business is run, and the physical appearance of the business is a reflection of the way the business is run. And for me, that's no longer acceptable in our community and in our city. And I think we have a unique opportunity to assist the owners of this business to either relocate the business, maybe re-educate them on what's acceptable. And I think, and this is where I'm probably getting a little bit in an area that I'm not aware of, but I think the city has some culpability here also, because my guess is if that building is properly inspected for code, my guess is there's a lot of code violations in there. And again, people say, well, what about all the other buildings in town? Well, okay, I would go along with that also, that there comes a time when we can no longer lower the bar any lower to keep businesses in town and expect that people are going to come and invest in this community. And now is the time, either through the proposal that's here or in other fashions, to raise the bar, that this is no longer acceptable, that not paying taxes is no longer acceptable, not following code is no longer acceptable, and we're not going to accept that people just say, sorry, we didn't understand it, it's just a misunderstanding. That's just not totally honest. That people understand that there's taxes to be paid. Anybody in the downtown knows that there's personal property taxes to be paid. And so this is just a mechanism of skirting by on not paying taxes, and it should no longer be acceptable by council or the mayor or the city manager. And there's a time that it ought to be a line in the sand drawn. And so I would encourage you to not take a soft stand here. And I'm not sure what the legal ramifications of drawing a hard line are here. But this is a unique opportunity to raise the bar, continue to move the downtown in the direction that's envisioned, that the city plan outlines, and get an undesirable business off our main street. Thank you.
So as a point of order, we want to respect the speakers at the podium because they do have the floor. Council will have comments after the public hearing closes, so I am watching to make sure that people have a time to respond. So go ahead.
Thank you. Nadia Wolf, 409 Irwin Ave. Previously Executive Director for the Downtown Development Authority. Several years I worked with the people that are owners of Fedco, trying to get them to clean up their act, to get the stuff out of the windows, to get the tape off the windows. And I do like Sonny. He and I have had a good relationship, but I agree that we need to raise the bar. The place is atrocious when you look at it, the people that it draws. Now I see that they have made attempts at, excuse me. They have made attempts at trying to clean up the front of the business, and that's good. If they can totally clean up that place and bring it up to code, that would be one thing. But this has been years in the making, and I and Mike Herman before me, you know, a lot, city manager before Cheryl, we both worked on trying to get that cleaned up. And I think it's time to make sure that happens.
Oh, and I should, did you need names, I'd rather? Oh, okay.
Good evening, everyone. Wayne Arnold, 906 Hawk Street. As a lifelong resident of Albion, I think I've seen that place go through many transitions. Okay, let's just draw the line here. All right, we got a downtown that we're gonna renovate and we're gonna bring it up, right? So look here, have them, if need to, have them remodel their building, whatever it takes for them to fit in downtown, that's what they need to do. If they need to renovate their building, if they need to remodel it, then that's what they need to do. But that's, as far as them talking about moving from downtown, that's ludicrous. I mean, that's that man's place of business. You know, get him to, hey, get the stuff off the store windows, man. Build your place up. But as far as, you know, that's ludicrous to ask that man to move his business, you know. And lady, whatever, that was atrocious what you said. That was,
Are there any other new comments? Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
How are
Councilman.
you?
Dave Atchison, I'm a resident of Albion, 108 West Erie, small business owner here. My comment is that there are a large number of alcohol containers, whiskey bottles, broken beer bottles scattered throughout the area surrounding it. I spend summers picking up, cleaning the parking lot behind my house. I run a bed and breakfast in downtown, and I've had more than a couple of occasions where talking with my guests who didn't feel threatened but felt uncomfortable because of the intoxicated people coming through in the evenings. And I'm assuming they're coming back from that business. So changing the face of Albion and improving the downtown, it is an issue. It does not complement Albion. I don't know how you do a better job of policing the littering, but there are way too many alcohol containers ending up on the parking lots of the street with broken glass.
Thank you.
Hey, my name's Robert. I'm 208 West Thunder Street. As far as behind taxes, who isn't behind taxes? I'm behind taxes now, you know, but I will catch up and pay it. But as far as broken containers all over the place, has he ever been on Center Street? There's broken glass everywhere down there, you know, I mean, but we try to pick it up, you know, try to do the best we can, you know, we, as a community, you know, the neighbors and everything, you know, we see busted glass, we pick it up. But you see that busted glass or whiskey bottles, like I said, you ever go down Center Street, it's everywhere down there. I mean, I don't know if he ever been down Center Street, but the way it sounds, I don't think he has, you know. But we're mainly talking about downtown. I don't think, I think these people deserve a chance, man, to let them catch up with their taxes like everybody else. Everybody else, you know, I mean, we need to, you know, give them a chance. I mean.
Thank you. Can you repeat your name again, just for the?
Sorry, my name? My last name too?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Robert Solis.
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. If there's no one else.
My name is Lonnie Brewer again. I guess I got to make myself a little bit more clear. Albion is doing pretty good in the downtown area. And I appreciate everything that Albion is doing and what they're bringing down to the downtown area. Double Vision's been down in downtown for 5 years. We moved into a new spot. There was a trash container put right in front of our building for 2 years. Trash blowing against our window, blowing against our doors. We pick up every single day complaining about it to the city. Now, I still work with the city because I understand that they were trying to do something new. Now, for the last 2 years, it took me to do a complaint because I got tired of trying to open our building up with a bunch of trash. And all these people that are talking that stuff, now I ain't heard nobody spoke up for Double Vision and say, would y'all move those containers from their building? in that parking space. We sat there for 2 years looking at all that trash. All donors walked away, didn't want to even deal with us because it's all that trash coming against our building. It was just a sore eyes for 2 years. And I didn't hear all these concerns then. See, my thing is, and I hate to say this, but simple fact that only reason why they want them to shut down because of the hotel, and the man just said that. And it's a shame that low-income family or a store that cater to high-risk, low-income family can't go and set up in the downtown area with the city supporting it. Now, if the city have a problem with anything, the only thing the city had to do, like they do with everybody else, is just come around and let them know what's going on. Double Vision don't even mind. Our organization don't even mind going and helping. That's why I came to Sonny in the first place. I said, Sonny, anything you need, we can do. And we in a crisis ourselves, and we still reached out our hand and say, Sonny, anything you need, we can do. If it's that simple, a window, something in the window, or a little containers outside, that could have easily been resolved. Now, further than the man taxes, he always paid taxes. Where people trying to make a big deal out of taxes, he always paid taxes. It's not the taxes he's having a problem with. What happened was it was inside his building. It was inventory. That's what the problem was all the time, inventory. What the misunderstanding come in with the inventory was that he didn't know how to do inventory on something that's the state bring inside his facility. And he kept bringing that up to attention. He said, I don't understand. How can I do an inventory inside my facility, which I don't know how to do that. He said, the state own all the liquor, the beer, the shelf. He said, I don't own none of that stuff. So so he said, I always paid my taxes. He said, I just want to know what was going on with the inventory. Once he got a clear understanding what it was about, he said, okay, I can take care of that. Now, it ain't even about the taxes. Everybody in here know it ain't about the taxes. Hub, that brewery finna come downtown. That's a sore eyes if you want to use alcohol. Now, further than those people coming down there, those people is me. I don't go out too much. I come down to Sun and get me a cooler. So I'm one of those people that you talking about? But we're saying all of that. I'm just saying, come on, let's keep it clean. If y'all want to do this right, do this right. Don't make it about a race thing, because that's what y'all saying. And if y'all want to work with this man, we here. Y'all don't have to work with him. Continue to do your project. But let Double Vision, other people that concerned about Sonny, let us work with him. Give us that opportunity to do what we got to do. Because you know what? I'm a Sonny. That's what makes me so upset about how y'all going to come at him. Because same way y'all coming at Sonny, same way that y'all going to do with us. But I'm going to tell you just like this. Say, hey, he got rights just like you do, just like you do, just like everybody in this building got rights. I just want to make that clear. That man got rights.
Thank you, Mr. Brewer.
Hi.
How are you?
My legal name is Maria Veronica Cordova, 411 South Ionia. Okay, now you're talking about Fedco. There are a few abandoned buildings between there. Are they gonna revamp those buildings? There's, like, next to Sunny, there's a abandoned building there. Then there's Judy Warren's. She's got her empty building there. Then there's the beauty parlor there. Then there's Cascarelli's on this side. He needs to be touched up there. And then you go back over to Charlie's. Charlie's, are they gonna redo theirs a little bit there? If you're gonna, if we're gonna do the straight up everything, and then where Gina's used to be, that's empty. Are we gonna do everything, Well, if we're gonna do the work, everything. And Mr. Cascarelli, he's been default on his taxes previously. It's been in the news, it's in the paper, it's been in the papers. So, Sonny, we gotta back everybody up. Like Robert said, we're all in default on taxes. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, public comments for the public hearing? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to...
Wait a minute.
Yeah, the council comments after. Okay, so I'm going to close the public part of the public hearing. Are there any... Go ahead, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Just so that council's aware, what the city manager and I, we sat down actually last year and identified several businesses in the downtown area that had significantly delinquent personal property taxes. And what we decided was, given that these several businesses operated with liquor licenses and that they've been delinquent, probably the most effective way to entice them to remedy their delinquent taxes was to bring to their attention that the city could revoke the liquor license. So, or rather I should say recommend the revocation of the liquor licenses. So what we did is my office sent a letter to those businesses last year identifying the amount of tax that was outstanding, where they should contact the city and make arrangements to get those paid, or further action would be taken. We received response from one of the businesses. The business in question tonight did not respond. Later last year, we sent another series of letters. This time, the letters were sent certified, and they were signed for by the business owners. That again identified that there was significant outstanding personal property taxes and that would need to be remedied, or the city would seek a recommendation of the Liquor Control Commission that the license be revoked. Again, one of the businesses responded. The business that we're talking about tonight, again, did not. So what we got to the point where the regulations for the Liquor Control Commission licenses, if there's going to be a revocation recommendation, it has to be done before April 1st. Once this matter got put on for a public hearing, the business in question, Sing and Sing, did reach out to the city and did make arrangements to get onto a payment plan. The idea is that they're making bi-weekly payments, and the bulk of that should be taken care of prior to April 1st. The hearing tonight has absolutely nothing to do with the outside facade of the business. Perhaps there's code violations on the inside. There might be, and those might be another issue for another day. This is strictly about the outstanding personal property taxes. So what the manager and I had discussed is because council action would be needed relative to this before April 1st, as long as the business stays on its payment plan, as far as its personal property taxes goes, there'd be no reason for revocation. However, in the event that they default on that payment plan, council action needs to be in place before April 1st, if this is a direction that the council wants to go. So that's why it was brought to you tonight. They are making good faith payments, and certainly I don't believe that the city wants to put them out of business, but it got to be to the point where it was getting ignored and it was growing, and it's something that if we're going to go this direction, it needs to be done before April 1st.
Okay, so we're in council discussion phase, so if you, Councilman Barnes.
I'd like to address the concerns with the issue at hand. I'm a regular customer at the store in question. I'm seen publicly going in and out. I want to keep it legal by the Open Meetings Act and the decor that we're to have. I'm allowed 10 minutes as a councilman. First of all, I think concerning the tax situation while we're here, in our agenda tonight, there will be a conversation on the resolution. As I read my packet, they have already paid that portion that was requested. And we're going to move forward with that if it's voted on by council tonight. However, after hearing the comments that were being made, this is the first time that I've ever been ashamed to say that I'm an Albion City Councilman. For a standout citizen who's doing wonderful things to help Albion grow. Downtown, private businesses. It just hurts to recognize how this person really feels, and he's let me know he's a devout racist. But my concern is the Downtown Development Authority. Does Mr. Singh know the rules and regulations of that? Is he an active member? Has he been invited to any members? Has he any meetings? Has he been sent any information that he should be there? I don't know, but this is part of the Downtown Development Authority. And when it comes to taxes, yes, I know for myself that there are other businesses downtown that were having problems. Cascarelli, since 2012, from the information that I have, was having problems. Mr. Dobbins himself, I believe, I contacted the Calhoun County attorney concerning the purchase of some of the properties that he has on Superior. I was concerned with the land bank, the tax policy procedure, and some conflict of interest. With the former head of the EDC being an executive on his nonprofit board and a member of the land bank, and some of his properties came under scrutiny. And we treated him with dignity and respect. I didn't see him treating this company downtown with dignity and respect. I saw pure racism. I saw statements from the former DDA executive. Pure racism as I saw it. And I'm sure they're not going to recognize the knife wounds that is in me, because they're not even going to recognize that the knife is there. And it just hurts. Now, if there was a situation with code violations, we dropped the ball at the city. John Tracy would have let us know what's the policy, what's the procedure, what's the records of their violations. Let's keep it to law. I'm running around the state telling everyone in my home in Grand Rapids how progressive Albion is and how we come together, college, the city, EDC. You know, we're really moving forward with the diversity. And the pink elephant in the room just will not leave. And I'm seeing a number of racism here now. That's just my opinion. I'm not speaking for the council, speaking as a council member based on this item. And so much downtown can be done. I've been with the Moose, I've been with the Rotary, I've been with his historical society. I've experienced racism in all of them. But but nobody want to talk about that. We don't throw them under the bus. We try to work with them. I've been a member of those. A black man being a member with those bodies, and I was treated with condescending behavior. That they had to come down a level. Those are my feelings on this issue, and I think that you're bothering them because they're people of color, and you stated out your own mouth undesirables. They have every right, if they follow the law, to be there. So you want all black people to move out of Albion? Thank you.
Councilman, 1 second. 1 second. Councilmember Lawler.
Thank you, Mayor. In the discussion to where myself, the city manager, and the assessors had with the Sing and Sing, he did express that he did try to call and try to take care of whatever it is he had to take care of. He even got a number from our city manager, which he said he got no answer back and no one called him back when he left messages. So I'm just going by what he's saying to us in that meeting. I'm hoping that we do not, we stick with the program as far as the the taxes for the liquor license, which is the issue at hand, not as it being a distraction. If it's a distraction, let's help them get it cleaned up. If it's a distraction because there's kids and stuff, a new hotel and things like that, well, we do have the Albion Brewery coming, and that's across the street from the library. So,
that can't be it.
I'm just hoping that the council, just focuses on the matter at hand and not the other comments that were made, and, that we give opportunity. Since he did make, arrangements and to try to help resolve this problem.
Did you have a comment?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I have a question on procedure. I think the fact that we're being asked today to consider this, is it possible that we vote for this revocation if they don't remain on target for making their payments? Or if we vote no and then they don't make their payments, do we have to wait another year before we do this again?
Go ahead.
So as I indicated, if the resolution would have to, at the absolute latest, be voted on at the second meeting in March for it to be submitted to the Liquor Control Commission prior to the first. Their payment plan will not be completed at that time. So what I would recommend to council is that the resolution be approved with the caveat that it only be submitted in the event of a default on the payment plan. It only be submitted to the Liquor Control Commission in the event that a payment plan is defaulted upon. If it is not, then we don't need it and we won't submit it to the Liquor Control Commission. But having that action in place, I think will A, it'll keep the business on track with the payment plan, and B, it will have your action already in place in the event that that happens.
Was that, just that question, okay. Councilmember Brown.
Yes, I hope I'm not putting Dr. Mitchell on the spot too much. Because I called her last week, and I expressed my own personal thoughts, that the timing of this seemed a little curious, and it just seemed a little suspicious to me. My question to her was, are all businesses being looked at that have delinquent taxes? So, Dr. Mitchell, I'm going to ask that you speak a little to our conversation, just for the sake of transparency, what your plan is as far as looking for businesses in Albion.
Thank you. Would you like me to respond?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
it's really, I mean, well, let me, are there any other comments from council?
Well, I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier. The business that's in question today is only one of the businesses that was addressed relative to the personal property taxes. There were other businesses, including Coscarelli's, that were identified and
I appreciate that, but I asked Dr. Mitchell because I didn't have a conversation with you, and I know what she told me, and I would love for her to respond, please.
Okay.
What, okay. I mean, well, okay, is it okay if I, no, you're good, you're fine.
Okay.
Like, is it okay if I,
You can speak on your own.
is it okay if I say something?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Make sure council, okay. So, it's getting to what you're saying is, ultimately, we're all in Albion together, and Albion is, there's some positive things happening in Albion, and we want to make sure, that's actually one of the things that, since I've been on council and ran for mayor, that's been a big concern of mine, is making sure that when the city does take action, we do it consistently. and we do it fairly, right? So when this came to my attention, basically two entities, Cascarelli's and Fedco, were brought to my attention for owing, I guess, back taxes for personal property tax. Personal property tax is, at this point, I guess the state has pretty much eliminated it. But what it is the tax that businesses pay on equipment, cash registers, those kinds of things. As they depreciate, they pay taxes on that. So it's not property tax, it's not income tax. I know that, again, this is my personal perception, is I know that right now reinvigorating downtown is a core part for several stakeholders in the city. And so I understand the need to make sure that you don't want to put $1 million, $9 million hotel in a place and have other venues that might not be up to code or have other issues. So I get that. One of the things that, I spoke with the city manager about it, and one of the things that I brung up, and I know that we have a new EDC director, and one of the things that I'm really interested in is what I see happening a lot in Albion are great opportunities or potential that are not realized sometimes because the right connections are not made. And so if we have a situation where investors are coming in and they're investing in properties, they're investing in new business ideas, what are the creative things we can do to bring people together? Because one of the things I think about Albion a lot of times is since 2002, Michigan had its own kind of single state recession around 2002 that really affected Albion. We lost Kmart, the hospital, the last large industry in town, Harvard Industries. And so basically for any business to remain open is really a miraculous considering the economic challenges that the city has faced. So my thinking is, what can we do to help businesses that are here, get in line? Like I said, we don't want to have a situation where people are not doing the right thing in terms of what the law is, but we want to make sure that if there's anything that the city can do, and in light of what we know it's happening, how can we include more people? So I think that's really, my perspective is kind of an inclusive perspective on this. So now, in terms of where we are right now, so my understanding was with the other entity that they had made, so my understanding was the entity tonight did not contact us until Councilmember Lawler mediated that this past week. The other entity did, but then defaulted at some point on their payment plan. They stopped paying at some point, right?
Correct.
Okay. So is there a reason why that has not been rung to us?
The one that was on a payment plan started a payment plan, then defaulted, then started a payment plan again. That is coming to you at the next council.
Okay. So I think one of the things, and that's, and I'm probably sure that's where Councilmember Brown was going, is when someone does not pay personal property taxes, let's say a typical business, let's say it was an industrial business or something, the options that the city has is basically to go in, confiscate property, and auction it, correct?
It depends on the business, but we can rent take property and auction it. We can initiate civil litigation against them, or in the case of businesses, if they hold certain licenses, we can recommend them revocation.
So one of the things, and so in hearing what the administration has bought, I guess, placed before council this evening is really the idea that because you have, these particular businesses have liquor licenses, it's kind of like an easier way to express our concern at the entities not paying their taxes.
It's the most cost-effective way for us to ensure that they make their payment, because we don't have to go through the expense of civil litigation, and given the nature of the businesses, their liquor licenses are pretty critical to their operations, so it's something that will make them sit up and take notice of their taxes.
Because basically, like I said, I think there's a, you know, you hear this in town sometimes where people say, well, you know, I keep my yard up, I, you know, do everything, and then there's, you know, that one house on the street who does not put the same effort in, has all the kind of issues. How do we handle that? The other side is, again, we want to make sure that everyone is being treated, I guess, fairly and equal way by the city. So what I'd like to do, and like I said, council can discuss, we can discuss further what other ideas we have. But one of the things I'd like to do, I'd like to sit down and actually talk with the owners and see what we can do, because I think that we can't ignore it. But then, like I said, one of the things that I had asked for is that, you know, what other businesses are behind in personal property tax. And so I think that's really, you know, a concern of mine. So, you know, I would table it, and I shouldn't say that. Yeah, I don't have my yellow book with me, but a motion to, oh, she does, to postpone it, so that those conversations can happen, because you know, I sense that council's concerned. I know that people are concerned on both sides, and I think that I don't want to make just a rash decision. Councilmember Barnes.
This public hearing specifically speaks to the revocation of the liquor license with Sing. It doesn't speak to other entities. Point of order would say that we act on their situation right now. That act doesn't have to be approval or denial, but that's where the conversation should be. With this hearing talking about removing their liquor license, we're not even discussing any violations of the liquor laws. We're talking about the taxes. They, from our own attorney's statement, they have worked with the city, they're in compliance, and we should be moving on with the agenda to number 8 before we can do anything as far as postponement or adjournment. The public hearing is to speak to their situation and their situation only.
Are there any other comments from council? Councilmember Law.
Thank you, Mayor. I did see in here where they did come to a conclusion to make payment arrangements. Once he did talk to the city assessor, and there was the city manager present with me, that he did find out what actually personal property taxes were. And I really think that once his payment arrangements are done, his issue will probably be over, because his personal property taxes is lower than $30. So, I mean, I'm just kind of putting that out there, and he did make an effort to come in and get payment arrangements.
Councilmember Reed.
This is what I was really thinking too. Did he understand what had to be done? And if not, then I think that we should give him the opportunity to understand and correct it.
Councilmember French.
I don't think voting yes on this resolution is not giving Mr. Singh a second basically holding a little bit of fire to his feet to make sure that he continues to make payments. If what we hear from our city attorney about the other business that set up a payment plan and then defaulted, so I think the city has the right to be a little gun shy, and so to hold the feet to the fire a little bit by approving this, when he finishes making his payments, it goes away. If he doesn't make his payments, then we have an actionable item. So I understand the fact that a business owner may not have known, but 2 years of not contacting the city to ask that basic question. So I'm fine with giving him a second chance. I just don't want to miss an opportunity if he defaults on his taxes again. That's all.
Are there any other comments from council? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to citizens' comments. Persons addressing the city council shall limit their comments to agenda items only, for no more than, we got to change that. I'll say 5, but we'll hopefully please try to keep it to 3. Proper decorum is required. Are there any citizens' comments about agenda items?
I think it's unfortunate when an interested citizen can come in front of the city council and be called a racist. I didn't have anything to do, I didn't say anything about anybody at all. I was asked to express my concerns, which I did. I'm committed to this town. I spent 25 years practicing medicine. I let everybody possible in my door, and I continue to treat everybody equally. And it's disgusting that somebody can rail on somebody in that fashion this evening. And I reject that, and it pisses me off.
Mr. Brown. Are there any other citizens' comments?
I just wanted, Nydia Wolf, 409 Irwin. I just wanted to apologize because I think I used the term element. I was thinking of drinking at 10 o'clock in the morning. Maybe that's my own bias, has nothing to do with race. And Mr. Barnes, I think you know me better than that. But anyway, I do apologize.
Oh, okay. Are there any other citizen comments? Go ahead. What'd you say?
Okay, Sunny back again. About those taxes, give me 4 weeks, I will pay it. End of the March. And it's not just a liquor store, you know, people don't just come here to buy alcohol. I have a MoneyGram transaction too, you know, people use that to pay bills, grocery, you know, people in downtown, so they don't have to walk across the town, you know, to just get some help. So that's it pretty much, you know, don't think, you know, people just come there to buy alcohol. They buy more stuff too, especially college students, you know, to transition money. And plus community people, you know, pay them bills for everything. And about my windows, Mr. John Tracy, he did talk to me like last month, I think, and he told me I have to just move a couple signs, which is I did, like he told me. And I don't know what I said. I mean, I was supposed to do. Just let me know what I need to get done, and I will do it. Thank you.
Like I said before, I feel like we resolved the problem with Sonny. I don't think that he should be put on hold just to do what he's doing already. I think it's just a distraction just to come up with other things to hold him down. I think you should just go ahead and make the vote. Go ahead and let that man pay his taxes off. Go ahead and let him approve his building. Double Vision, they'll do their part to help him clean up anything he need, but don't hold that man vote just to come up with other things on against him. Please let that man go through the vote and let him pay them taxes. Thank you.
Are there any other citizens' comments? Okay. Quickly.
Yes, I just want to know, what's wrong with the store inside anyway? I mean, is it the advertisement on the windows, or what's, I mean, they're getting complaints about something inside. What's wrong with the inside? I mean, like you said, if there is a problem inside, somebody should let them know, look, yeah, you might need to change things around here, like whatever they need to change around to make it look better, or whatever. Because I really think that these people don't really get a good understanding of, you know, what people mean about the inside of the store not looking, you know, not looking good, you know.
Thank you.
As far as the lights and all that, so.
Okay, if there are no other citizens' comments, we will move forward to consent calendar. Item A, approval of regular council session minutes for our February 6th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Support. Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. Items for individual discussion. Okay, agenda item A, request approval resolution number 2017-3, a resolution to object to the renewal of and request for revocation, let's see, for revocation of, should be maybe of, the liquor license for Sing and Sing of Albion.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported, discussion. So, oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Mayor and council, I feel an obligation to clarify some misstatements and perceptions that are brought forward today. First and foremost, there is no effort by me or the administration to isolate any particular businesses in Albion. We want to be fair and across the board with everyone. What first came to our attention last year was looking at a collection effort for outstanding personal property taxes for all businesses, starting with those who have liquor licenses because of the April 30th deadline to convey that information to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission. And we identified those businesses about this time last year, and we could have expedited the process in regards to reporting on their licenses and revocation then. But it was decided to be more lenient and reasonable and giving them a warning. And relative to Sing and Sing, they received that notification June 23rd of last year. And I spoke with Mr. Singh then in regards to the outstanding balance and what he needed to do relative to the personal property taxes and seeking an annual exemption. He was given until the end of December to make payments and payment arrangement. He was given another notice after we received no further communication that he was considered in default. So it was at that point that this was brought forward to your attention. And thanks to Councilmember Lawler and Mr. Brewer, they contacted him directly and indicated that he needed to come forward and make a payment arrangement, which he did on Friday. So I'm pleased to say that he did make a good faith effort in regards to this agreement. So what you have before you is a resolution that says, essentially, as long as he keeps the arrangement, no further action is needed or required. But should there be no, should he default, then your action is already in place. I don't want to set forth a situation where you would have to go through another public hearing because we do have a time frame in which to meet. But I also want to state that he's not the only business that is being impacted by these decisions. The ones that have liquor licenses and outstanding personal property taxes, definitely because of the time frame with the Liquor Control Commission, we have to address those in a timely fashion. But I also have a list of all the businesses that have outstanding personal property taxes, and that totals over $330,000. So, one, I think at this point we are now putting everyone on notice, and I would much prefer a payment plan. We try to be reasonable, but we do have an obligation to collect those debts that are outstanding to the city. And that is the plan, and it is not isolating any one company, and it definitely is not the intention of me as the city manager to try to drive out any business who's already here. I applaud any business who has been successful and has sustained themselves during some very difficult times. But I will also say we expect them to comply with our local codes and ordinances, because those will be enforced across the board also. So I look forward to working with them. I will look forward to working with all of our businesses. But if you have an obligation, now is the time to clear it up.
Are there any, Councilman Bryant?
My final comment on the resolution is I'm asking council to approve it, and I understand that with the climate that we're facing in our nation, gentrification is real, a relocation of people, and I'm just hoping that we as citizens of Albion can get away from that type of thinking and show it by approving this. Thank you.
I would just stress again to council that this, if approved, the resolution only gets transmitted to the Liquor Control Commission if there is a default in the payment plan. As long as Sing and Sing keeps on their payment plan, this resolution would not be submitted and the city would not be recommending a revocation of the license.
Are there any other council comments before I have comments? Anyone? Okay. So the thing for me going forward is making sure that, like I said, we're doing things fairly across the board. I mean, I think that's something that's very important. You know, because every year, I know there's about, I don't know, maybe $40,000 in utility payments that, you know, the city has to write off. And, you know, that's real money too. So I think, again, my big thing here is I'm willing to support it. He's, you know, the owner's given the word that he's going to keep up the payment and do that. But I want to make sure going forward that, especially in their case, because of where they're located, that the city, and I'll talk with the Economic Development Director, or President as well, that we are trying to bring people along in the rising tide that's coming along in the city, right? So we don't want to have a completely new upgraded downtown and surprisingly people who have kind of stuck it out are not included. So I think that that's something that is very important to me. So, and then if I'm hearing our attorney correctly, then on the next council meeting, there's going to be another public hearing for that other entity.
That's correct, because their payment plan requires them to be paid in full by the 28th of February.
Okay. That's before the next meeting.
Correct.
Okay.
So, in the event that that doesn't happen,
Okay.
Which it's not looking like it's going
Yeah.
to, the other business will be on for the first meeting in March.
Okay. Are there any other council questions from council? Okay. Seeing none, I guess well, let me ask you this before we go. One other question. If we just put this on the next agenda. Okay, okay. Okay, I could motion to postpone it, but okay, roll call.
Councilmember Reed,
First, would you restate the motion?
The motion is to approve a resolution to object. So basically, we can't revoke the license, but we can notify the state commission to say that we don't want it to be renewed.
In the event of a default.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Lawler,
No.
French,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
and Mayor Brown.
No.
It passed.
Okay.
What'd I do?
Okay, the next agenda item is agenda item B, request approval for the first reading of ordinance number 2017-02, an ordinance to amend ordinances 66-139 and 66-176 for the solid waste. There's a motion, is there a second?
Support.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Moving
She's so
second.
soft-spoken.
Okay.
I heard it.
I'm sorry. Moved and seconded, the manager. Explain.
It looks like Cole.
Oh, he wanted, okay, I'm sorry.
It's an all-city attorney.
Okay.
So, as the council's aware, we've previously modified the solid waste ordinance in light of the single hauler RFP that was put out. The way that the ordinances currently read, as we were moving further into the single hauler process, I identified basically two ordinances that I think need to be clarified in light of the fact that we've moved forward with the single hauler. 66-139 is just amended to specifically state that when the city elects to utilize a single hauler, that each residential premises shall receive refuse for service only from that particular single hauler. The way the ordinances currently read right now, that already happens by process of elimination, but this just spells it out more explicitly. The second amendment to 66-176, responsibility for payment, just specifically identifies that when the city shifts to a single refuse hauler for citywide service, that the title holder to the property is ultimately responsible for the payment of that refuse service. Now, in the event that, I don't know, maybe it's a rental property, a single family residential rental property, they can always contract to have the tenant take care of that, but this just spells out that the property owner is ultimately responsible for paying Ranger. And so this just narrows and clarifies the residents' obligations as we move forward with the single hauler.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions, comments, or concerns from council? Councilmember Lawler.
Thank you, Mayor. This isn't the discussion about the fines or anything yet, is it?
No.
No,
Okay.
you can, what I would suggest is when we have the future agenda items. Yeah. Seeing no other comments from council, ask for a roll call vote.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Barnes,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
and Mayor Brown.
Yes. Okay. Agenda item C, city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. There's a number of things going on in Albion, and first and foremost, I want to applaud the winners of the Watuba competition road rally. Mayor Brown and Councilmember Brown were part of the winning team, although they cheated.
Oh, no. No.
That crossing the state line one was a stretch.
That one didn't count.
It was a lot of fun, and we want to thank Marie McCone, who's here. Marie. It was a fun activity, and we look forward to doing something like that again very soon. So thank you, and welcome back. Thank you. In regards to the report, I want to remind you that next Monday, the 27th, we have the goal-setting session scheduled, as well as a backup additional date of the 28th. Most likely, it will take more than one day, so just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Also, what you have before you are in the yellow folder are the status of the goals from 2016, the additional items that were presented from our department heads relative to 2017, and some additional information for you to have a little bit of time to review it before we actually gather to have the discussion, that we're very fortunate to have it facilitated by Patrick McLean from the Gerald Ford Institute has offered his services to facilitate the conversation for our goal-setting session. Also, let's see, the Junior Optimist, the Albion Junior Optimist will be hosting the state convention, so there'll be up to 50 young people here at the Albion Community Center located in the Marshall Opportunity School. It's an overnight event. I will be there overnight with them. Pray for me. But it'll be a lot of fun and festivity for them, so we're really looking forward to a fun event for all the young people.
What's the date?
That's March 3rd and 4th. Are you volunteering? And as a cost savings measure, we are converting from the Pitney Bowes mailing service to the Lake Michigan Mailers mailing service. There is some overall cost savings. We're expecting of about $2,000 a year. So we're looking forward to having that implemented, I think, at the end of next month. It's income tax season, so it's time to start paying your income taxes. The property taxes were due on February 14th, and you have until February 28th, which is tomorrow, to pay them here at City Hall. After that...
Tomorrow.
What?
You said the 28th, and it's not tomorrow.
It's, next Tuesday. After that, they will have to be paid at the county treasurer. The city income tax forms are available on the city website as well as here and at the library. The library has all of the state, federal, and city forms. Assessing, the Board of Review will have their organizational meeting on March 7th, and they will be convening on March 20th and 21st from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and March 23rd from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Anyone who wishes to appeal their property taxes needs to schedule an appointment. Looks like it's March 21st by 5 p.m. Let's see. The tree dump passes are available and they can be purchased at City Hall for $10. Water aerobics and recreation have started again today, so that's a very popular class. And April 8th, the Isman House is hosting a tea, and there'll be celebrity servers at that event. So April 8th is their tea. And that's pretty much the main highlights. You have the full details in your packet, and also the cardboard classic sled race. It doesn't look like we're going to have enough snow. But we will have the judging competition, and that will be under the large pavilion, so that will take place. And you also have in front of you the Albion Marshall Resilient Community Project, and they're having their kickoff open house on Saturday, February 25th from 1 to 4 p.m., and that will be in the Ludington Center. So it's open to the public.
Okay.
One more.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We have an opportunity and an amazing challenge. So the opportunity is a ICE grant, which is a federal grant for infrastructure improvements. And you can apply for between $500,000 and $2 million for a project. Now, the deadline for submission is April 7th. Prior to the submission, we have to have our capital improvement budget adopted, which has to go through the Planning Commission first. So we are going to be on a very fast track for this one. So we're going to get the public notice out. Going to work towards a work session with the Planning Commission combined with City Council. I'm going to ask them for March 14th. They have a meeting this week, so that date will have to be finalized for the work session. Then looking at a public hearing before the Planning Commission March 21st at their regular meeting, and then the council meeting to adopt the resolution April 7th at your regular meeting. That's if all goes well. So that definitely will be a priority because we definitely want to seek that funding.
Is this the water tower?
No. Looking at.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's it.
Thank you. Agenda item D, future agenda items. Councilmember French.
So we had talked about modifying our rules of how council meetings are run.
Yes.
I assume that's on the agenda for our visioning or not? And
Yeah, we
if
can bring it.
not, can we bring it up to the next council meeting agenda for discussion?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lawler, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to add the discussion about the fines for the single hauler
Okay.
for our residents.
Basically, the non-compliance
Yeah.
fines, yeah.
And I got
Council,
one more.
okay.
There was a possible grant that I had sent out to the council. I'm not sure if everybody got it. I think I sent it to everybody about polishing property and trying to rebuild it back up.
Okay.
And just trying to seek out information if we could do something with that or not.
Okay. Thank you.
For
Council,
point of clarification, was that on the proposed legislation?
We're looking.
I think that's correct.
yeah.
If so, could that be postponed until the legislation is actually introduced?
Okay.
Or probably would pass, right? It's been introduced, right?
Yes, it would pass.
Okay.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
All right.
Councilmember Reed.
Update on Highland Park.
Okay. Councilmember Barnes.
Update on the Austin Avenue Initiative and the Malibu Iron Site. There was some discussion on some rezoning and some districting. I just want to see what the progress was. Thank you.
Okay. Agenda item E, motion to excuse absent council members. I know, oh, I'm sorry. Councilmember Brown, I'm sorry.
We need to table it.
An update on the opening of the dialysis center, if we could get one.
Okay.
And this isn't an agenda item, but Dr. Mitchell and I had talked about possibly setting up a joint meeting with the Marshall School Board and the Albion Council at some point. So.
Okay. 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 So agenda item E, motion, is there a motion to excuse Councilmember Spicer?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Yes, we did.
Yeah.
There was bereavement.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Usually that happens before we
Yeah.
our motion. Second,
Yeah.
so, thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Citizens' comments. Persons addressing the city council should limit their comments to no more than 5 minutes. Proper protocol and decorum is required. Are there any general citizens' comments?
I have one. My name is Marcus Trammell on a property at 707 North Berrien Street. I've been away from the community for several years, but I'm back fixing up this property. And since I've been back, I've noticed a couple of things. Obviously, there are some exciting things going on in Albion. But in the process of cleaning out a house and walking around the neighborhood, I've realized a couple things. One is, if you're here in Albion and you have to clean up a property, you need to get rid of things, it's a real challenge because for large-scale waste, to remove it yourself, it's either very costly to hire someone to remove it, to take it, or if you personally have to take it to the county contracted landfill north of Marshall, it's quite a distance. And Jackson, actually, if you're a Calhoun County resident, discourages by your citizen, based on your county of residence. And it's also quite expensive. And so I think Albion's got some cleaning up to do. And walking around, you have a lot of citizens that are taking care of their homes despite property values being hit in this town. They have invested and worked very hard. But you have some homes that have collected a significant amount of garbage, debris around, and I'm not up here just to complain to the fact that these have debris. I'm saying I think the city, especially moving to single hauler, will start to address some of these issues of people not having trash service that creates this dynamic in the first place. Many people not having trash service, it's piling up. But also, we have to provide a way for folks, and it's accessible, and that doesn't mean that it's free, but it's accessible, so that people can dispose of large-scale waste that they cannot put in their trash bins, because this is something we have to do in this community to address this if we really want to see not just the downtown, but the neighborhoods as well. I mean, Albion suffers the fact that we have generations of problems that we haven't addressed. And this is just a part of addressing a long-term problem. And a part of that is as the city has declined, our code enforcement staff has shrunk to the point that it's not able to really accurately, and effectively deal with the challenges that are faced. So I'm encouraging in the planning session coming forward that the city think about how can we better have enforcement of codes, but also provide the opportunity for folks to be able to do something about it and not just be chasing after folks and levying fines on their property without them being given the ability to bring it into compliance. And a part of that is providing a way for large-scale waste. I know in the other communities that I've lived in, the city often manages recycle center and large-scale dumping centers in their neighborhoods that cost a fee. And I'm thinking now that we're in contract with the Granger, I'm sure they have large waste bin removal, that a part of bringing on and giving them a contract for a full city would be to talk about how we could provide large dumpster-like containers in the city that people could dump in for a fee to help to offset the cost, because there is a cost. But since their trucks are going to be coming in and out of the community, there might be a way to work with them on providing that. But I think it's really critically important to make our city's neighborhoods, to help bring them up as well so that everyone can share in the revitalization of the community. And I appreciate your time in this council, and I look forward to talking with each one of you while I'm around.
Thank you, and welcome back. Are there any other citizens, I should say public comment, because we're not all citizens, but our county commissioner.
Mr. Mayor, council members, city manager, and certainly the residents of the city of Albion, good evening. My name is Gary Tompkins, and I am your county commissioner. Apologize if I may be redundant on some of the information that I'm going to communicate this evening. I know I've been at various meetings, certainly recently, and some of you might have heard this before. But just real quickly, at the board level, we approved a submission of the grant for the MDOT for the countywide transit study, which is exciting news. We met the granting the match funds, certainly to be able to do that. It's going to take about a year to complete the study.
Can you
understand?
We have to keep our voices down so we can respect the persons or at the podium, so sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Absolutely. Well, and it's exciting about this because we are one of only 8 counties regionally that does not have a countywide transit situation. So this is an opportunity. The grant will become available in October, so it's going to take about a year to do the feasibility study. So probably in the last part of 18, early 19, we'll be able to determine whether or not it's feasible to move forward with that. With committee meetings, at Senior Millage Allocation Committee, since the last time I had seen you, we continued discussion and replacement of Dr. Gibson. As many know, that Dr. Gibson is retiring in May, and we're considering how we move forward in terms of replacing him in that position. And we also received a funding request from Fork Senior Center for renovations. As many of you know, Michigan Works has moved out, and Fork Senior Center saw an opportunity to potentially do some renovations in that existing space. And the request was referred to the Budget Committee for further recommendation at that point in time. And then, I know it's a bit redundant, but again, as you talked about property taxes, County Treasurer Winsauer, office is granting hardship extensions, certainly, to property owners who are qualified property owners who are struggling to pay their taxes right now. The deadline to apply is March 15th, so if you know anybody that may be interested or having issues, please let them know. to contact the county treasurer with those specific items. So, and then a couple other quick things. Just recently, I was selected to serve on the 3rd District Congressional Committee, which is Justin Amash's Federal Congress congressional seat. I'm honored because it gives me an opportunity to advocate not only for the citizens of Albion, but also for the residents of Calhoun County. So anytime that we can push it up the, go ahead.
One of the things that Councilmember Brown brought to our attention earlier, and there's a copy of it too, and I provided to you.
Sure.
Is the AmeriCorps program.
Yes.
And just how important that's been to us, and so, you know, sharing with the congressman.
Oh, no question, no question, absolutely, absolutely. Very impressed with those individuals too as well. They've done a lot of great work here in the city of Albion. And then finally, real quickly, I just want to take the opportunity to thank Councilperson Reed for the opportunity on Monday to tour with Senator Knopf and Greg Moore and with Mayor Brown in terms of, first of all, Highland Park is a beauty. It's a charm. It's really a gem that you certainly have in your community now. Because it does tell a very unique story, and it's very interesting, absolutely. But besides that, touring and letting Senator Knopf be aware of the issues that are certainly there with the cleanup of certainly the Kalamazoo River and that ever-crumbling bridge on North Albion Street. So I certainly appreciate that opportunity to be able to tour, and anything I can do to assist, I will continue to push that and follow up with it. So thank you again for the opportunity. Certainly appreciate that. Absolutely. So with that being said, if there's no other questions for me, you guys have a wonderful evening, all right?
Thank you
very much.
I'd just like to say thank you to because he came out going to another meeting and he looked so nice. I said, his shoes were shining and everything, and I said, oh, yeah, he's got to walk out in the mud and his shoes is all shining. So thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay. Seeing no other comments, thank you again. I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you very much.